Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Aeroflow Race for Real. The Pocket Rocket is in the house. How is everyone today? I am pumped. I miss not being here. I tell you what, it's just not the same. I love being here. G'day to everybody that's watching via our live stream platforms, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Hope you're geared up, ready to go, guys, because it's a great night of racing. Now, speaking about racing, tonight, we've actually got 3 shirts to give out tonight, and it's going to be voted by people up in the crowd and also voted by everyone watching via the live stream. So if you've got a favourite car that is here tonight, we need to know by 8 p.m. and we're taking votes, and whoever has got the best car, the best bike, and also the best Burnout car, which will be coming up a little bit later. You need to put your votes in. So if you're here at the track, guys, make sure you do log on to YouTube or Facebook and put your vote in for your favourite car or bike that is here tonight. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, I will announce the winners. And they can go up and get a free shirt from the merchandise shop, thanks to Jackie up there. And if you are feeling cold, guys, make sure you do go up and see Jackie. I'm sure she's got some hoodies up there to keep you warm. And of course, later on tonight, we've got the Burnouts and we've got GMR Skidders, which are in the house tonight as well. So it is going to be an awesome night. Whoops is here tonight, Bankrupt. And a lot of the other great skidders that we hear on Good Friday, those guys are going to be here as well. Neil Lentil, the party animal. Well, we had Sean Dartnell go down in the very first pair, and Sean's actually leading the championship in Street Fighter at our Speed Addict Clothing Company New South Wales State Championship Series. So he's out here tonight just getting his eye in. Of course, we've got the next round of that championship here on Saturday. So if you can't make it to the track tonight, guys, but you want to come out and watch some race cars, definitely come out on Saturday. It's going to be a fantastic day. We've got this Commodore down here, which is an absolute weapon, those guys. As the Nissan gets a little bit sideways, heads towards the wall, did well to catch it. A 1077 with a 4 to an 1174 at 145. Joining me in commentary tonight will be the Bushman. He is not too far away, so cannot wait to get Steve up here. So who have we got on the live stream? We've got, well, it's an RC car. G'day, RC. We've got big boy Blakey, Andy's drag racing videos, Nitro Cookie, that's a cool name, I like that one. The Calais Kids, Aceland Towers, Seymour Dragon. So if you're watching from around the world, guys, you guys can also put your votes in as well. So we want to know who's got the best car and the best bike. Well, happy birthday, RC. G'day to DJ Prowse and the family. Hope you're all well. So we are racing tonight, guys. So if any of your friends were thinking about coming out, hey, the gates are open. The track is sensational. It has had a bit of a scrape, as the rotary just puts on a seriously cool skid. Well, little Mazda out with a 1.88 and a 60, but moving around straight towards the 330 foot mark, and he runs on through 1084 at 118 to a 15.1. That is huge there from the little rotary. That's what we like to see. 10-second cars. All right, Brian is out there now in his Commodore. So, guys, if you love your motorsport, don't forget May 3 till 5. Here at Sydney Dragway, we've got the Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs. 3 days of racing. It's going to be a huge experience, not just for me, because I've never done a 3-day event, but for everybody here at the track as well. It is going to be sensational. So we've got Top Fuel, and we've also dragsters, and we've also got Top Fuel funny cars co-headlining the event. Alright, looks like this car down here in the Aeroflow lane may be dropping just a little bit of fuel or a little bit of liquid out of it. So our start line team have picked that up. We'll get that car back to the pits and check it out. But Brian out of there with a 2.04 in the 60. This car runs in Super Street at our Speed Addict Clothing Company New South Wales State Champs. He runs on through with 13.12. So he'll be wanting to get his eye in as well for this weekend and get some nice consistent times happening. Oh, looks like we've got Eden down there. It looks like he's got the ute all fixed up after a few weeks ago when it dropped a pipe. Well, we've got a birthday shout out to Harper. Happy birthday, Harper. Hope you've had an awesome day with your friends and family. Hopefully your dad spoilt you. Yeah, I totally agree, DJ Prowse. 3, 4 and 5 at May. The Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs. It is going to be huge. Well, both cars out sub 2 seconds. Eden looks like he's across the line in 11.98. The Commodore next to him with a bit of sponsorship on board from Twin Lakes Automotive up at Charmhaven on the Central Coast. Runs a 12.67. Of course, we'll see those guys out a little bit later on tonight on the Burnout pad. I'd like to welcome the man, the legend himself, Stephen Bush. What's going on, Bushman?
Thank you very much, Stewie. How are we tonight?
Mate, I am pumped.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Oh, no, I'm really pumped.
It's Wednesday night, and you missed out last week because we had the diesel dirt and turf here, so you've had to store all that energy for more than a week.
Oh, I have, mate. I have. It's, you know, coming in today, it just felt like coming home, and then back here tomorrow for a private test day. So
okay.
Should be a little bit of fun. But tonight it's all about Aeroflow Race for Real, and of course the Burnouts on the Burnout Masters Burnout pad, and GMR Skidders coming out in force tonight.
Yeah, I walked past a few of the Burnout cars down in the lanes for the scrutineering shed as I arrived and signed in. So yes, very tough little Gemini down there with a good chunk of the supercharger and carbies and the air filters out of the bonnet, well over the roofline, and. Yeah, it should be a good evening, especially a little bit later on when we turn a bit more rubber into smoke.
Absolutely. Now, of course, Steve, I don't know if you heard, but we're actually running a little competition tonight.
Yes.
And people that are in the crowd and people that are watching via our live stream platforms, we're putting in a vote in tonight. We've got 3 shirts to give away.
Okay.
And it's the best car on the night.
Yes.
The best bike on the night.
Yes.
And then later on, the best burnout car.
Okay. All right, so we'll keep an eye out for that. So best bike, best burnout car, and the best motorcycle.
Yep.
All right, and then are we tallying this or what's?
Yeah, we're going to tally it. So I don't know if I've got a pen up here actually. But
we might need one
I
of them.
might have to get one. Oh, Ben's got one.
Oh. And you've
and
you've now got no eyeball left.
Yeah, I almost didn't. He almost hit. Yeah. Wasn't going for my third eye, I went for the top eye. Can't take you anywhere, Benj. You're definitely a motorcyclist.
Shots fired in both directions.
Well, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him for a week, Steve.
Thank goodness I'm off to the side. I'm not in the line of fire.
Yeah, exactly.
strong burnout from the fastback Mustang in the Aeroflow lane and to the Commodore in the Rocket lane. Both these races have been here plenty of times here at Sydney Dragway. Of course, the start line getting smoked out.
Yeah, I love this Mustang. We don't get to see it enough. It's a great little car, this one. And a good package as well for a street car. Bit of a red light there, it just means he's trying. And 1.72 in the 60 there for the Stang. Now, of course, the track has been scraped a little bit, guys. So if you are racing tonight, there might be a little bit more movement from the rear of your car. Do take that into consideration, guys. But hey, that's racing. You've got to tune to the track. So it's not too bad though. 1.72 in the 60 there for the Aeroflow lane. Mustang.
Yeah, of course. It depends on the suspension setup to how much the rear end of the car is able to hook up to the racing surface, and also it comes down to lots of things, not just the suspension, but tyre pressures, the type of tyre that you're using, the type of rubber compound, all of that sort of thing. And also, of course, the amount of horsepower you're making too, because if you're trying to put 4 million horsepower through a street radial, it's not going to work.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just about to say, Steve, it's pretty cool outside. We've got a few turbo cars here tonight, so they will be loving it.
Yes, I think that they'll be making a little bit more horsepower, coming on boost a bit quicker, but of course that might mean that they might need, if they can, play with the boost settings and try and retard the boost loading or whatnot to try and get the car a little bit further down the racetrack, then feed the power into it. 13.05 there for the Aeroflow lane to a 12.73.
Let's say good day to Scott. How are you, Scott?
On track now, Joe Sorbello out in the 180 SX.
Yeah.
So you're running this car fairly regularly, actually. You haven't seen it for a while, and then all of a sudden the last 3 or 4 Aeroflow race for reals, he's come out and run the engine in without the supercharger connected, and then I believe he is now running the belt and everything is on the car. Not chasing a light on this one, I don't think.
No, but a 1.52 in the 60 and a 994.
It's about a second away from where I think he would want to be, but car didn't seem to want to leave the start line as quick as he would have liked, but anyway, he'll have a couple more shots at that a little bit later on.
Now this should be a crack of a race. We've got Michael Riches, who started off as a street bike racer, came out here just to have a go and got hooked, stepped up to street bike, and now he's put the extended swing arm on the Jaxa 750, now runs in a modified bike, sponsored by AMS Water Meters, and in beside him, Jesse Barnes on the Suzuki GSX 1300.
Yeah. Jesse, a second generation racer, started also in street bike, took out the win in last year's Speed Addict Clothing Co. Championship. Not on this Suzuki, he was on a lot less powerful machine, but sticking with Riches there. Riches goes a 9.88 to a 10.12 for Barnes in the Rocket lane there. So good strong pass between the two. Only about 0.2 of a second between at the finish line.
That was a great pass there from Jesse Barnes.
Yeah,
I
think the other bike he was on was running like 14s or something like that. So
yeah,
that's a fair leap in performance on the Hayabusa side.
All right, Matt Duff, welcome back, Matty. One of the admin for Sydney Random Rides is out there on the Harley. And a 1.75 in the 60 for Matt. And the bike next to him is keeping him honest. An 11.74 with the 6 for Matt to an 11.79 at the 1.24. That was a good side-by-side drag race.
Next pair of bikes rolling up to the start line. We can see our Aeroflow flags there. The race is into a little bit of a headwind here at the moment, Stu.
Yeah, a little bit. It's been gusting all afternoon, but you know, it wasn't that cold this afternoon, but I suspect the temperatures have dropped a fair bit. But as I said, you know, what Alan Stevenson said, because I said I don't like cold weather. Alan Stevenson from Power Plus Race Fuels.
Yeah, it's because he's up the north coast.
Yeah, he goes, oh, come on, Stu, it means you're just making more power. You'll love it. G'day to Alan if you're watching via the live stream or via Facebook. Of course, Power Plus Race Fuels. Big thank you to those guys who supply a lot of the Burnout competitors with their methanol for their Burnout cars. And, of course, most of the races as well. That
they support quite a number of our sportsman races. Looks like the rocket lane's out in front on this one, Stu. 10.19 with a 5, 144 through the finish line. Just over 220 odd kilometres an hour through the finish line to an 11.48 with a 6 at 121 mile an hour in the Aeroflow lane.
Wow, that is hauling anything around 144 miles an hour. That is huge. Well, I can tell you guys, after having a week off, I mean, look, I know the Diesel Dirt and Turf Festival, you know, it does have a home here at Sydney Dragway when they do their big events, but, you know, I miss being here when there's racing.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, obviously the venue's set up for drag racing specifically, but I did actually come out to the Diesel Dirt and Turf Expo on Sunday, and I was blown away, Stu.
Yeah?
The whole venue, with exception of the actual racetrack and the what we're looking at here, was full of excavators, attachments, people selling insurance, any sort of anything to do with earth moving, farm equipment, lawn mowing. There was chippers, there was concrete pumps, there was people selling augers and all sorts of bits and pieces. And the displays were absolutely huge. I obviously work in an industry involved that where we lift things, a lot of things, and heavy transport. And I'm guessing that some of the investment from some of these companies to actually transport their equipment here would have been quite substantial.
Oh, wow.
And such a big range of stuff. You know, there was people had on display the small excavator that you'd use as a plumber, say, to get down the side of a house, everything up to like a 50 or 60 ton machine. It was quite surprising, and the amount of people that were here on Sunday, I was blown away.
Wow, so there'd be plenty of machines you could dig graves with then.
Well, if that was your first thought, yes, but I'm just curious who you dig one for.
Well, you never know. If you want to, you might want to get buried in your car. I don't know.
Well, there's plenty of people that have said that.
Yeah, well, that's right.
I don't know how often it actually happens, though.
Yeah, true. No, but I'm glad they had a really good event. It's great to hear, Steve, that the place was pumping. Obviously I don't work in that industry, but it would be an interesting thing to see.
Well, I think I was, like I said, I was surprised the first time that I've been to the expo. I actually parked in the Speedway. That's how many cars.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So our convenience car park to the west of the track here was full. But yeah, it was quite a good display. I quite enjoyed it.
Unreal. Well, of course, I have been mentioning since the start of the show tonight, of course, May 3 till 5, we've got the Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs, headlined by Top Fuel Dragsters and Top Fuel Funny Cars. The Bushman and I will be on deck as part of that event. Oh, it's this motorbike. Did you see that, Steve?
No, I didn't. I was looking down at the burnout pad, very close to the centre line when I looked up, as you mentioned.
Tell you what, he had a bit of a lean on too, Steve. He had the old top bike lean on that one.
Definitely not what you want on a road going motorcycle.
No.
Not ideal. At least with a road going motorcycle, you can lean and it'll actually do something. Not like our Nitro Harleys where you've got to lean is not the word. It's a cliff hang off the side. On the wrong side is what you've got to do to get those bikes down the racetrack.
Yeah. It's going to be an awesome 3 days of racing. Of course, the Friday, which is May 3, that'll primarily be for the sportsman races. So obviously we've got some good fields of sportsman cars already lined up, ready for the Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs. So if you haven't got your tickets, guys, make sure you get them. Buy them online. It works out cheaper for you. You can buy them from the gate as well, but if you get them online, it saves the hassle.
I must admit that the fields from all of the NDRC rounds to date have been very well supported by all the categories that have been fielded at those events, and the sportsman races. To take their hats off to them as well, because naturally they might not have the budget of some of the professional series races, and to chase a series around the country is a fairly big investment for everybody, but certainly for those in the sportsman category. The choice to do that's a pretty difficult one, especially with the current economy and cost of living, etc. But fantastic that they've all banded together and put together some very good fields and some really good racing.
And I'll tell you what, it's going to be on for sheep stations as well, because just looking at some of the categories that have already been lined up, I'm sure there'll probably be other people that want to enter the event as well. But look, I'd suggest if you do want to race, guys, you've got to get your entries in as soon as possible, because it's going to be big. You do not want to miss the 3 days of racing here at Sydney Dragway. That's like a party in itself. Yes.
I think there'll be a few tired commentators by the end of the 3 days and a few tired racers, but yes, that's right, Ben. We haven't done 3 days for a long time. I know you think all we do is sit up here and talk, but there is a little bit more that goes on.
Oh, look, for those people that have only just been around the sport for a while, us commentators have got a fair bit of work to do before an event, just like a race team. The race team's got to prep a car.
Yep.
They've got to make sure they got parts. Us commentators, we've got a lot of homework to do, which normally starts about two or 3 weeks before the event.
So we're probably about ready to start that.
Yeah, I've got notes that I've got to add to. But just as Steve mentioned, our categories are very well supported. As a matter of fact, guys, just as an example, Supercharged Outlaws for that event, we've got about 12 cars that have entered for Supercharged Outlaws already.
That's fantastic.
For the Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs. So, as Steve said, some of those races don't have the budget to run Pro Alcohol, Door Slammer, top fuel. But, Supercharged Outlaws is still an extremely exciting and very, very difficult category to win.
Well, I think that the cars make all the right sounds, don't they?
Well, they do.
Especially being a supercharged V8, all methanol burning. So they're certainly and no slouch. Like some of them are in the low 6 second zone now, and to get a car to run consistently at that ET is a little bit of a challenge sometimes, because you're nearly pushing into. In some cases, I'll say that without being rude, the bottom end of Pro Alcohol.
That's right. Yep. That's exactly.
And I know that those races are pretty good at getting the cars to run consistently, but they're not worried about a dial-in or anything along those lines. I mean, that is the bigger the extra challenge, I guess you could say, with Supercharged Outlaws. But great to see, as you said, 12 cars entered in that category. What other categories have you got?
We've got 22 cars entered for Super Street.
Yes. Okay, it's quite a strong field.
That's an awesome field for Super Street. Super Sedan, I think we've got even more than that, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 26 cars entered already for Super Sedan.
Two strong fields there with those two categories.
Yep. Super Gas is actually there's a class that's really surprised me, Steve. We've actually got a decent field of Super Gas.
Yeah, that's good.
And of course, Super Comp. That's one. I mean, Steve and I commentated Super Comp at the last big event that we had here at Sydney Dragway, and Steve and I were just blown away with some of the numbers that were coming out.
Oh, definitely. I think obviously because they run on an index system, so they don't have a breakout as such, but all set on a national handicap, and some of the class designations can be a little bit confusing, because you think, how is that those two cars able to compete together? But they do, and usually put on a pretty good show.
Well, I'll tell you what, when you've got names like Peter Pisolides for a start,
yes,
that's entered. You've got Stephen Athens, the OG of Pro Street. I love that car, Steve.
Yes.
Fred Nicastri.
Yes.
I mean, Fred's been racing for a number of years. Sarah Roderick, that's a name that I don't recognise, but Sarah's
I
entered for
probably will
Supercop.
know the car when I see it. I have heard the name before.
Yep.
Maybe we should do a bit of research on
And
that one.
I think I might have to. And Peter Mamone, who's a name I haven't heard race
Yeah,
for a
no,
little while.
Peter raced the last Speed Addict Clothing Co. Championship. I think he took out the win or the runner-up.
Yeah.
He's got a very nice late model Mustang in. Yeah, so should be a good field there together, Stu. But as I said, there's a few races there coming off some form from our Speed Addict Clothing Co. Series, which of course the next round of that is this coming Saturday. So if you're free and want to come on down to Sydney Dragway, you get to see everything from Street Fighter up to Super Comp, and some of the categories running Chicago Shootout, other ones running eliminations depending on the class numbers. Of course, there's Junior Drag Bike, Junior Dragster, Super Sedan, Super Street, Street Fighter for cars. So if you're racing your street car out here tonight and want to give the full dial in and handicap racing a go, you might have just missed the entry cutoff for that for this round on Saturday, but certainly keep it in mind for the next one. It's run over, I think, 8 rounds in total, and where you earn points towards the championship for the year.
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome. Now, one thing I wanted to touch on too, if you are watching the live stream and you, as a racer, and you were thinking about coming out to the Gulf West North Nitro Champs, we've got one car that was entered for Real Street.
Yes.
So I really hope we can get some more, because let's face it, we've got some tough Real Street cars here in Sydney.
Yes.
Very tough Real Street cars. Now, the red lights are flashing, which tells me there might be something that has been just dripping out of one of the cars.
Well, we can see the headlights coming back this way. I'm guessing that's from the quad. So we're just checking out the top of the hill there, Stu.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing tail lights.
Maybe they just caught something. Now, this is a car we haven't seen for a little while either. 73 Ford, this beautiful blue Ford Cortina.
Yep, it's got the big nitrous N on the back window. Already done one pass here tonight.
Yeah, I was pretty excited when we went through a quick walk into the pits earlier and I saw that car. Right. Looks like we're just waiting for the quad to make its way around the corner, and then we'll be able to send this beautiful Ford Cortina, and who's taking on Sammy Joe, who's racing in the Speed Addict Clothing Company in New South Wales State Champs. There's a few races here tonight. They're just getting their eyes in.
Yeah, we've already seen, I think Sean Dartnell's out there in the Hyundai as well.
Yep.
Sean's already scored some points for this year's series.
Yeah, I had a quick chat with Sean before I came up, actually. He was telling me he was leading the points so far in Street Fighter. And then he told me that he lost the last race by 10,000ths of a second or something like that.
A very small margin.
Yeah, very small margin.
I watched the NDRC round out of the bend the other week on 7+, which I'm sure that the round here will be broadcast as well. And I think the junior final was Zane Condello, and I unfortunately can't remember who the winner was, but there was a thousandth of a second across the finish line.
Wow.
So I was sitting there at home and thought, I'm going to find out what that margin was. And I think it was something like 37 millimetres.
Wow.
The gap at the speed that he went across the finish line. There was 37 mil. So not even the thickness of the front tyre was the margin. He had a better light, but the other competitor was slightly closer to his dial-in, and Zane was only off by the smallest of margins on the dial-in. But yes, I'm going to certainly try and make a note of that website. So if we're quick enough, we can jump on our computer that we've got hooked up up here, and if we have a tight margin like that, we can try and relay that. Because sometimes when we talk, that was a thousandth of a second or a 10,000th of a second. Yeah, that was you think, that's not much at all. But when you actually put something that you can refer it to, a reference, that sort of, I think, makes it easier for everybody to understand, because they can all go, oh, yeah, that's about, hold their fingers apart or whatever, whatever they choose to do. Puts it in perspective to how close it actually was.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, but that's drag racing, and a lot of that, as you and I have spoken about a lot over the years, a lot of that comes down to reaction time, and just how important it is.
It does. It certainly highlights that. I mean, both races in that race had very good lights. I can't remember what they were off the top of my head, but they were both very good. And as I said, I think it was the thousandths of a second across the finish line was the margin. So, anybody's race. I don't think any of them would have known until they saw that the win light flashed up who the actual winner was. But certainly a good show from everybody involved down there. Of course, all of our winners and runners up, well deserved for getting out and having a crack at the bend.
Yeah, it was a really, really good quality event, that one. And as I said, we look forward to the Gulf Western All Nitro Champs here at Sydney Dragway, May 3 till 5. And I know that DJ Prowse, who's watching via the live stream, I know he's keen to come down and get some nitro fumes into the body, get the heart started. Well, 10.57 at 1:29 in the Aeroflow lane. That's a good solid pass. All right, got the VK winding up those rear tyres. Scott said, was Stoke getting Damien Harris's signed blower belt off the record-setting top fuel car? Awesome piece for the man cave.
Yeah, definitely.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, big congratulations to Damien and Santo Jr. and the whole Rapisada team. I mean, running those numbers here in Australia, it's a credit to them.
Yeah, there was some very strong passes run across all of our professional categories down there. I think I saw Pro Stock was running like 689, 199, I think was one of the quickest I saw. So definitely, good show put on by all of our categories. There was a number of the Pro Slammers in the 560s.
Wow.
Not just, that sort of time zone has pretty much been reserved for the select few, but it seemed to be, I won't say commonplace, but there was a number of cars in that 560s, and Slammer, another one of these categories that's just continues to get quicker and quicker in every race meeting that they come out.
Well, I think the good thing about Slammer at the moment, in particular, is that it's not just one person anymore.
Yes.
Or two people. Yeah. There are now 3, maybe 4 people in the game now. You got obviously John Zappier's there. John's there, but you look at Lisa and Daniel Gregorini and what they're doing at the moment.
100%, Stu. I think that category. There's so many people that even if you are one of the quicker cars, even though there's not much difference between, and that's the thing, because there isn't much difference. If one of the quickest cars have this, is a bit late on the lights, or and there's one racer that has said himself that he's not the greatest on the tree, but makes plenty of horsepower, so that sort of gets him out of trouble in some cases. But I feel that any of these races in Slammo, anybody can take the win light. All you need is just for the slightest of issue in the other lane and the other cars around you.
No, I can't wait for the Slammers. Well, Joseph Bello back out in the 180SX with the supercharged LS motor in it. Once again, heading towards that centre line and hugging it, but he goes a 9.07 the 4, so that's a step in the right direction. And that super sedan that was next to him, or super street, an 11.42 there for the big HQ. All right, we're back in the bikes. So don't forget, guys, if you're up in the crowd or you're watching via the live stream, guys, make sure you put your votes in for your favourite car tonight and also your favourite motorcycle. And then later on, we'll pick the best burnout car on the night.
What have we got? A shirt?
Yep, we've got 3 shirts to give away tonight from the track shop. Big thank you to Jackie, who does a fantastic job up there. Don't forget, guys, if you want your Sydney Dragway merchandise, make sure you go up and see Jackie. I'm sure she's got some jumpers up there ready to go.
Yeah, yes, they might come in need. Maybe not tonight, but certainly in the next couple of weeks it'll start to get a bit cool up on the mount. But we have a very strong supporter base here in Sydney. They're not afraid to sit in the cool.
Right. And of course, everybody that's down in the trackside viewing area as well, they're in a perfect spot down there. It's an RC car said, I wish Oz wasn't 10,000 plus Ks away. You have to come over one day, RC, on a Wednesday night. You have to come over one day when we've got a big event on, and you can.
You'd want to be here for more than just the Wednesday night.
Oh, of course, yeah. But I mean, you come for the Wednesday and then stay for the big event,
and then come back on the Wednesday at least.
Yeah,
and then maybe pick up a bike night if we have one, and then
that's it.
Or a roll drags and then go home.
That's it. I reckon. Yeah, mate. This is the place to be in Sydney, mate. This place is like 20 times better than the Ivy in the city. We have a better party here at Sydney Dragway than they do anywhere in Sydney.
Well, not much in this one, Stu. I think the Aeroflow lane just out in front by just over a tenth of a second. 11.77 with an 8 to a 1 at 120.3 to an 11.78 at 123 across the finish line.
DJ Prowse is asking, am I commentating on Sunday Street Meet? No, unfortunately I won't be DJ Prowse. I'm actually working. So I work Sundays, so I'm unable to make it here, but I'm pretty sure Steve will be here to commentate it. Like to say g'day to Aislinn Towers. G'day Aislinn, how are you? Welcome to everybody who's watching around the world and around Australia, but most importantly to our spectators that have come out tonight to watch Aeroflow race for real. Big thank you to Aeroflow Performance, Morrison, the team, of course the legend himself Graham Cowan and his wife Wendy. Thank you guys for your continued support of off-street drag racing here at Sydney Dragway. And don't forget, guys, at the Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs, we're going to have the Aeroflow Top Fuel Funny Cars here with Josh Lay, who just recently got his licence and has just been racing over in Perth in the Bandit, the Outlaw Nitro Funny Car. We welcome him for his first Top Fuel event. That's going to be exciting.
Yes, it certainly will be. I think Josh has been running funny cars and supercharged type vehicles for quite some time, but I don't think anything can prepare you for a big show nitro funny car.
It's going to be awesome. I'll tell you what will be interesting though, Steve, and this is purely from a commentary point of view. I'm interested to see the difference in time and speed between the dragsters and the funny cars. I don't think there'll be that much in it. I think it might surprise a few people.
There's not a huge amount in it in the US, of course, but I think this is the first time they're running 1,000 foot. Certainly here at Sydney.
Yeah.
So obviously they're a little bit. Some things will change for them in terms of their setups, but effectively they would have all know what their car would run over 1,000 foot as far as times are concerned. But to actually be racing to that point rather than the extra 320 feet.
Yep.
But, it will be interesting to see where the comparisons are, and I think that's one of the reasons why that's sort of been done to try and get a little bit of parity. Of course, we saw that car in the US, that Nitro Funny car in the US, and his name escapes me. I shouldn't have brought it up. Went 341 mile an hour or something a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So certainly, these Nitro Funny cars make plenty of horsepower, and like anything with that sort of horsepower, it's all about getting it to the racetrack and making every horsepower work for you.
Well, down on track now, we've got the Audi, which is just winding up the boost off the start line, taking on the Ute. The Audi goes at 1.78 in the 60, nice and straight down the rocket lane, and a 12.15 to a 13.49. As we've got this VF Commodore down here, it says it's got a 6.2 litre V8 in it, which it probably does. And he looks like he's taking on Sean Dartnell. Sean out here to get some practice on the tree. Of course, for Sean, it's not so much about getting down the end of the track as quick as possible. It's about that reaction time, but most importantly, the consistency of the car. And being a street car, there's probably not as many variables as, say, something that's a little bit more serious, like a top sportsman. But 0.019 on the tree there for Sean. Didn't take him long to start getting his eye in. 12.64 there for the Commodore. A 17.19 there for Sean Dartnell, also known as Hollywood. All right, we've got the Ford Focus down on track in the rocket lane. He's taking on this very tough Commodore. Well, the Commodore out with a 1.67 in the 60. The little Focus out with the 2.34. The Commodore running on through with a 1097 at a 126 to a 14.17 there for the little Focus as the Volkswagen comes out now. Now he's seen what the Focus just did, and he's like, yeah, it's a Ford. I can beat that. Now, what I like about these little Golfs is that a lot of them are... When you see them, you think, oh yeah, it's just a Golf. But when they're running, 10-second passes and they look pretty much straight from the factory, it's not something that you want to race in competition, let alone race on the street. We don't like racing on the street. That's why we run Aeroflow Race for Real. What's this? RC car? Obey the beard. Just let it grow, mate. We'll see if you can get yours as long as Benji's. Benji's has got his tied up at the moment. Yeah, I was waiting for him to put a plat in it, but... Great stuff. Tell you what, it's a great night of racing. G'day to Chris, who's down in the water box. G'day, Chris. All right, looks like we've got another Volkswagen coming out. First timer. That is great to see. Oh, Keithy walking down. Keith, your head must be cold, mate, with no hair. So he's got cans on his head, so he can't hear what I said, which is good.
Oh, I'm sure he can hear what you said.
I'll probably
he just pretends that he doesn't hear what you said.
That's all right. I'll probably cop it a little bit later. That's all right. UFO Sorcery Engineering. G'day, guys. How are you? PC Gameplay Vid said Movember is our beard's biggest hurdle. Well, we've got a couple of people that are in the drag scene down here in Sydney that got very impressive moustaches, I must say. All right, so we've got a little Volkswagen. That looks like a Subaru down there in the rocket lane.
Yeah, Subaru to the 60 foot in under 2 seconds is not too bad for a street car. That thing is out of there and gone. It was a little bit loose on the hit, but 12.73 with a 5, 108 mile an hour through the finish line to a 14.99 with a 2 at 94 for the Golf. It was Bob Tasker the third was the gentleman I was trying to think of.
Ah, yes, yep.
And he went 341.68 miles per hour.
Holy. That is huge. We've got the Hyundai i30N now. I was out today, and look, you probably get a laugh at this. So
Probably.
I was out driving, and I'd seen this. I was down the beaches this morning, had my morning coffee as I tend to do at DY, and anyway, this Hyundai i20N.
Yes.
Was waiting to go through the roundabout.
Which is the smaller one.
Which is the smaller version.
Yes.
I was thinking, oh man, that looks cool. And here I am, half expecting to see someone maybe, I don't know, maybe in their late 20s, early 30s behind the wheel, you know.
Yes.
It was actually a grandma behind the wheel. And I mean that nicely. Like,
yes.
You know, she's probably in her probably early 60s.
Yeah,
but,
wow.
I'm looking at it going, hey, you got class. I like
that,
that.
I guess from the northern beaches, they're probably a little bit more alternate in some ways.
Oh,
but,
very alternate.
I'm not saying that in a bad way. I mean, you know, but certainly, did she come up on the launch control at the zebra crossing?
No. Well, I was going to give it a thumbs up, but she was too focused on something else in the car. But I thought, yeah, that's really cool. That's cool. I like that. I mean, you know, that style, I don't mean to be derogatory or anything, but, you know, that style of car, you don't normally see the older generation driving it. So
normally a Corolla or
yeah, I mean, that's heaps cool. I like
a
it.
standard Hyundai, not a sports model.
Oh, come on, big bag. Oh, dear.
Out of your way nicely. 177 to the 60. Was on the launch control off the start line. And we'll run on through for a 12-1, 108 mile an hour.
All right, we're just going to wait for this car to make its way more than likely through the Sydney Dragway Expressway. Or they might just let it run down through the braking area. Looks like it's still under its own power, so we're just going to wait for it to make its way around the turn road. While that's happening, guys, we're going to get a few words from some of our sponsors, and we'll be back very, very soon here at Aeroflow Race for Real with the Rocket and the Bushman.
Bang shift shifters from Aeroflow Performance are truly the modern shifter for the modern age. Featuring a full bespoke billet case, all shifters are designed for right-hand drive vehicles with an LED lit gear position indicator. Available in either ratchet or gated options, as well as OEM replacement shifters for popular Holden and Ford vehicles. A large range of bang shift spares are available for each shifter that includes shifter cables, brackets, lever and gate kits, trans brake buttons and drop boxes for the ideal mounting solution. Shift into gear and check out a full listing at aeroflowperformance.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Aeroflow Race for Real with the Pocket Rocket and the Bushman. We've got the Nissan down on track, taking on the EL Falcon.
Well, the Falcon, a big hole shot there, out in front at the moment, but I think about to get passed by the Nissan and around half track. And certainly motoring at the top end. 12-1, 144 mile an hour out of the Nissan in the rocket lane. Wow, Stu.
That's impressive.
That would be looking somewhere in the high nines. Was what it should be running, not at 12.
I'll tell you what, Steve, you'll love this one. We got a Datsun down here. Datsun 1600.
Yes, I like the old Datto 1600.
That's an Outlaw sticker on the rear end of it. This thing is beautiful. You don't see a lot of black ones around.
No, you don't. But I mean, the Datsun Club, from what I've seen in the car scene, like when they have, across the road and car shows and stuff, they have quite a strong. A lot of their membership are very enthusiastic and not scared to get out and give their cars a right thrashing at some points. And when the Datsun Club do come along, you know that there's plenty of horsepower under the bonnet, because most of them now either have the older FJ20 or the SR20 is usually the engine of choice, I guess, in the newer builds. But even the older model, just single overhead cam engine with a set of side drafts on it or whatever is pretty cool. And I know that there's a very big following of the Datsun Mark all across their different models and shapes, because of course there's the sedan, there's the 510, which is the coupe, the wagon, and then the fastback coupe as well in the 1200s. And no secret that one of my favourite cars at the moment is Scotty Cousins' 2J.
Oh, I love that car.
1200 coupe.
I haven't seen him for a while.
He's been racing. He's come out the last couple of times for the Speed Addict Clothing Co. Still in the 7, so I don't know if he's changed a hell of a lot from when we've last seen the car, but looking absolutely gorgeous as always is that car. And another 70s Japanese car racing down the quarter mile here at the moment. The little RX2, Stu, ticking some of your boxes.
Absolutely, although that Datsun went 13.1 on his previous pass, which is damn good. A 14.8 there for the little Mazda car. Now, we've got an R32 Skyline out on track, otherwise known as Godzilla. Now, on Sunday, I was out and about because I had to do some shopping for work.
Yeah, you're not home much by the sound
of it.
No,
I'd like to get out and relax. But they had Cars and Coffee on at St Ives Showground,
yes,
which I completely forgot about. But as I'm driving down there, sorry, I was on my way back, there were two Skylines that came past me. One was a black R34. The other one was a maroon-coloured R32 with the number plates Zilla.
Yes.
ZJLLA. And anyway, they've gone past me to go and do their thing to get into the showground. Anyway, I had my window down, as I tend to do. And all I got was a big whiff of E85. And I'm like, oh, I'm awake now. I got to work with a massive smile on my face, and my work colleagues were looking at me going, what is wrong with you? It's like, I just got E85 up the nose, it's fine. They go, oh, you're such a rev head. I went, yes, I am. Sawyer, what's going on? We are, I'm not a punk rocker because I don't have a mohawk. It's a bit hard to commentate with the cans on, but what's going on, Sawyer? If there's anybody here that looks like a punk, it's Benj, especially with his beard done up the way it is at the moment. Oh, big turn of the tyres there in the Aeroflow lane.
He do his best to chase down the racer in the rocket lane, but I think it's Brian. That's Brian, isn't it? Yeah, 12.60 with a 1:108 mile an hour through the finish line to a 13.56 for the little Mazda.
Nice. Steffi just asked, isn't that David Northey in the black Datsun 1600? He helps run roll racing. You guys should be talking to him. Well, I might have to take a microphone down and have a bit of a talk with him. G'day to Mr. 420. How are you, mate? Welcome to the live stream. Don't forget, guys, if you're here in the crowd, make sure you do log on to YouTube or Facebook, probably more YouTube. Make sure you, in the comments, let us know what your favourite car is for the night, because I do have a T-shirt to give away to that driver, and also your favourite bike for the night. And there'll be a T-shirt up at the merchandise shop to give to the motorcyclist. Now, that's got to be done by 8 o'clock, okay? Otherwise, it'll be down to Steve and I to pick a winner.
Yeah, so it's nearly 7 o'clock, so we've got just over an hour to make that choice. Now, unfortunately, the BMW in the Aeroflow lane, I think, went into limp mode at the top of first gear, left the start line with a whole heap of RPM and on the launch control, went 1.7 something, I think it was, to the 60 foot, and that was about as far as it went. So let's hope that just the computer saying you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. I'm going to protect myself here, and hope that he hasn't broken anything, or the driver hasn't broken anything.
Well, thankfully he's under his own power, And he did give the car a little bit of a steer down the braking area, and it looks like it's AOK. So you're probably right, Steve. It probably has just gone to limp mode. Mr. 420, don't Australia have a lot of gremlin cars? Forgot the make.
Gremlin cars?
I'm not sure what you mean by that, Mr. 420. Cole's asking, hey, when are the GMR crew hitting the track? Well, they'll be on the burnout pad a little bit later on tonight, Cole. You'll see the whole GMR team here. Whoops is here. We've got Bankrupt, Neil Lentile, the party animal himself. I'd love to be in the passenger seat for one of his burnouts. I reckon it'd be a lot of fun. I can imagine just doing
I'm sure that would be.
I could just imagine. I reckon we've got to get the AC/DC pumping out of the car while the burnout's on. That'd be sick. All right, this Mustang is off the line. 1.83. Did just move around a little bit, though. Just before the 330 foot mark, there's a bit of smoke coming out of the Commodore, breathing a little bit heavy, but an 1175 there for the Stang and a 1426 there for the big Statesman. Eden from Area 51 Custom Performance is back in the ute, and he's taking on this Falcon XR6 Turbo 06 weapon. Cole saying, thought Neil was doing a drag run. I actually don't know, Cole. I haven't actually had a chance to have a chat to any of the GMR Skidders boys today. I haven't had a chance to get down there, so... Steve Nudge is saying, and can you guys tell us more about the roll drags? What happened? Apparently we've been told you are changing things as requested. Be honest with you, Nudge, I know as much as you. I've not heard anything in relation to the roll drags, so I'm not actually quite sure. DJ Prowse, get in the passenger seat tonight, Stewie. Well, I didn't bring my helmet for a start, so... And I've got to commentate with the Bushman as well, so I've got a job to do.
If you could arrange to get down there and have a crack, Stu, I'm more than happy to cover for you while you do that, because I think the experience for you to do that would be well worth.
Look,
I can't be trusted up here on my own.
I might just wait. I might just wait till my birthday.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I've got Benji up here to make sure I'm under control.
What you?
And if I step out of line, he'll just turn my mic off.
Well, you trust a man with a beard like that?
Well, there's nothing wrong with the beard. It's
I'm just saying.
Different.
I actually like it when you used to have the beard flowing, instead of it being tied up.
Oh, the Cortina getting a little bit loose on the hit there. The chassis started to twist up as they all do. Nice pass out of the car in the Aeroflow lane though. 10.56 with a 7.130 mile an hour through the finish line.
Oh, here we go, Steve. Winding it up in the burnout. Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking about.
This is a very sharp-looking HK.
That's cool, isn't it?
Kingswood down on the start line.
That is cool. The only problem is, though, the wind is blowing the wrong way. It should be blowing to the left, so everybody down in the viewing area can get some tyre smoke up their nose, Like to say, I forgot to mention, and I feel bad because, I love this lady. I'd like to welcome Carly Graves, who's here tonight. G'day, Carly. Of course, Carly's taking some photos tonight next to the track. Carly is a massive Burnout fan. She's probably a bigger Burnout fan than I am, and that's saying something. So if you love your photos, guys, make sure you do go and see Carly. She's standing next to the track. She's in the pink vest. If you see her walking around and you want a photo of your car or your bike, I'm sure Carly can hook you up with some great photos. Soy Up Gypsy saying, Giuliano, I was at Rotary Revival on Sunday. Now, I've always wanted to go to that style of event because One of the commentators that I know quite well from Queensland, he follows that scene quite well over the East Coast here in Australia. And he's a very good guy to commentate as well. And I feel bad because I've forgotten his name off the top of my head. But, of course, Jamboree's coming up here at Sydney Dragway soon.
Only a week or 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
So not this Saturday, next Saturday.
Yeah, if you love alternate engines, guys, make sure you do get your tickets for Jamboree. Of course, be everything from wild rotaries to wild Evos, GTRs, Toyota Corollas, of all things. It's going to be massive. Of course, the Gas Motorsport crew, I'm sure they will be here as well. And speaking about Gas Motorsport, I forgot to mention that the Nitro Champs coming up May 3 till 5. Paul Mahayat is actually going to be driving at that event. Yes. He's going to be driving the Celica.
Yeah, he's been doing pretty well in the Celica, actually. I think if I remember correctly, went the team's PB not too long ago at a private hire, I think it was. It was a 585
That's
from memory.
Huge.
Yeah, it was. The guys did struggle a little bit to get the car off the start line, but on the last pass, I think, of the day, the car left like a bullet and brought the good numbers up on the scoreboards. I know the crew were all high-fiving and patting each other on the back, and then I'm pretty sure I saw a post on Facebook not long after that saying that it was their PB. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. And I mean, you could nearly say that Joe Cinderelli and the Gas team are one of the OG in that sport compact scene around the 2Js and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Oh. And it's good to see too, because obviously the RB30s, you know, they're into the 580s. Now to have the 2Js here in Australia into the 580s, that's huge. But also Zoran Garjic back in the Gas BMW. That was awesome when I read that. Well, I love that car.
I mean, so Zoran's lucky that he's got a number of, well, I won't say lucky. He probably works. I'm sure he works very hard to get all these cars together. But he's got a pretty envious garage. There's a lot of quick cars in there, and you know, he has a choice between if he wants to run a 5, he can either jump in his Mustang or a 6-second pass in the BMW is quite easily done as well. Or if he wants to jump in something a bit heavier, he can jump in his HQ, which I'm pretty sure runs into the 7s as a street car. So. And they're the cars I know of, but there's probably more. But you know, certainly a pretty good selection of vehicles to jump in.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, we love seeing the Gas guys here. Now, Tony Dionatis, g'day Tony, who's joined into the live stream. He's asking, are there any VL turbos running tonight? Unfortunately, no.
I haven't seen.
Tony, we haven't seen one yet.
Haven't seen any yet. Doesn't mean there's not. Just we haven't seen one yet.
Yeah, you never know. They might come late, might get a VL turbo. But I'll tell you what, we've got some pretty good cars here tonight. And, you know, whether you're a turbo fan, a V8 fan, or a alternate engine fan, you know, we've got a huge amount of cars here, but we've got some quality cars. So don't forget, guys, get your votes in, because by 8 o'clock, I'm going to be announcing the winners of the best bike and the best car on the night, and then I'll get their race numbers, and that rider and driver will go up to the merchandise shop, and they can get themselves a t-shirt from Jackie, who's doing a fantastic job up in the Sydney Dragway merchandise shop, which is just at the top of the stairs, right near Go Nuts for Donuts. Now I noticed that Gas Fired Pizzas is up there as well. They're probably a good night out there to have a nice hot pizza. Just quietly, they're doing a great job. I can actually see them from the commentary box. Yes, I'm making sure they're working, and they're working hard. They're doing a great job up there. Great bunch of people up there. The gas-fired crew, of course, they got the big Chevy truck, which, don't get me wrong, I love that too, but the OG trailer, where it all started, is still going hard. All right, TG has voted, and he's picked the black Datsun 1600.
Yeah, just quietly, that was on my high up in the top of my list too, Stu.
Yep. All right, So that's on the list. I've just got to get the race number.
I quietly also like the RX2.
Yeah, I like the RX2 as well. At this stage, the black Datsun 1600 has got the lead, but hey, you still got just under an hour.
Yep. 54 minutes.
Well, the best bike, I've actually got one in mind. I just don't have his... Huh? No, I know you're not eligible, and you're not out there racing.
It's not all about you, Ben.
And you're not, and you're not racing. No. All right, Matt Duff, the Duff Man. I think we should get a shirt made up for Matt, the Duff Man. I think that'd be really cool.
I dare say that's probably not the first time that's been suggested.
No, I reckon it'd be really cool. Of course, we do have another Duff Man who is in the burnout scene, but Matt's on the two wheels.
All right, Jesse Barnes on the start line again in the Aeroflow lane, taking on the rider in the rocket lane, who's decided to line up right over to the left-hand side of the lane, right next to the concrete wall here.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Steve. Aristotelis Zimbus, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, he's voted for the RX2.
Okay.
Oh, so it's neck and neck at the moment.
Jesse Nelly coming off that bike there, having 3 goes at the throttle on the launch. Sorry to cut you off there, Stu. 015 on the tree, lifted the front wheel. I think caught him a little bit by surprise. Kind of lucky to stay on it. 1061 with the 3, 140 mile an hour. He wasn't shy once he got settled, but I tell you what, he was pretty busy there for a few seconds.
Tony's asking, have we sold out for the Top Fuel event in May? As far as I know, we haven't. So if you want to get your tickets, Tony, I'd say get them as soon as possible, mate. All right, so it's neck and neck for the best car of the night. It's between the white RX2 and the black Datsun 1600. Okay. Now, the best bike is this bike. It's about to come out in the Aeroflow lane for me, the Harley. Now, TG is asking, is that crazy wheeling, pulling Harley ape hanger guy racing tonight? No, he's not, unfortunately.
I haven't seen
TG.
him,
No. Okay, so for me, this is the best motorcycle, but it is up to the people in the crowd. Oh, thanks, mate. See, I've had plenty of practice working with Steve, because obviously we get a lot of long names in drag racing, and I mean that nicely. So sometimes it's a bit of a tongue twister, but I'm working on it.
Yeah, some of the Greek names tend to be a little bit tricky.
All right, so at the moment, for me, the best bike is that Harley. It just went down the Aeroflow lane, but it is up to the people in the crowd and to the people that are watching the live stream. So if you're up in the crowd, guys, make sure you log on to YouTube, the official Sydney Dragway YouTube. Jump on the live stream and put your votes in, guys, because I've got about 50 minutes of this competition before 2 of the owners are able to go up to the merchandise shop and get themselves a free t-shirt. All right, Michael Richards, the AMS water meters Suzuki Jexa 750 is out there. It's been running some really, really good passes on this bike. Of course, ran the PB on the bike little bit earlier, but check out the bike next to him. Oh, man, this looks like something I saw on Cycle Drag the other week. This is seriously cool. Another great looking Harley. Michael Richards .066 on the tree. So Tony's voted for the Harley that just ran while that pass was going on. So I presume you mean that Harley that I called out, Tony? M107 in the Aeroflow lane? Well, DJ Prowse has voted for the RX2. So, Steve, it's pretty neck and neck at the moment. We've got 2 votes for each of them.
I mean, of course, that's just my humble opinion. There's some very nice cars. There's a lot of other nice cars here as well.
2G said, I vote Ape Hanger Guy. So that would be...
He's not here. Didn't we just say he wasn't here?
Yeah, he's not here, unless you mean Matt Duff. Oh, the guy that just ran? Yep, I've got to get his race number. I've got to get his race number, Tony. Scott goes, no, Ben hasn't got his bike out again. All right, the Commodore out in the rocket lane. 1.82 in the 60. Oh, I'm going to duck downstairs and get that guy's race number. While I'm down there, I might take a microphone down and cause a little bit of havoc.
Sounds good, Stu.
I seem to do that very well down there.
Yeah, stirring some people up.
Absolutely, that's what I do best.
All right, our next pair of hot hatches rolling up to the start line. Let's see what the Golf can do this time around. All right, both races into the staging beams now. Those 2 pairs of white lights on the start line. Aeroflow lane way well, 183 to the 60. On a little bit of a number here, I think. Runs on through for a 1090, 127 miles an hour. Good pass out of the Aeroflow lane. And in the rocket lane, a 1796 at 83 mile an hour. Next up, we'll have the Audi taking on the EL Falcon. Audi in the Aeroflow lane.
Hey, Steve, you wouldn't believe who's here tonight, mate. The mad dentist, Andrew Morados, is here.
Okay, cool.
With his little blue RX3.
It's a very nice little car, that one. Andrew always had very, very nicely presented vehicles. Strong burnout from the rocket lane there. Our Mercedes driver. I think it's a Mercedes, looking at the tail lights. Of course, just going past the start line. Of course, we want to keep our burnouts to between the water and the start line, just to keep the cars flowing through the tunnel, and then of course down the racetrack. Mercedes away well off the start line. And a 12.59 with a 3 at 114 mile an hour. And in the Aeroflow lane at 14.68. Our next pair rolling up to the start line. Bit of Aussie muscle taking on some Korean muscle, I think it is, in the rocket lane. Commodore just over 2 seconds to the 60 foot. Ooh, one of those cars sounded like it was giving the rev limiter a bit of a workout at half track. And I'm pretty sure it was the Commodore. It definitely sounded like a GM product rev limiter, which we hear quite regularly here at Sydney Dragway. Yeah, yes, right, Ben, usually on the burnout pad. Next up, another pair of Volkswagen hatches out on the start line. We've got the Polo in the rocket lane, taking on the Golf in the Aeroflow lane. Polo just getting some staging instructions. Of course, if you haven't been to Sydney Dragway before, don't be scared to ask questions of any of our officials in the blue shirts or any of the fellow racers down in the staging lanes if you get a chance. Of course, if you're unsure, just grab the attention of some of the officials and we'll guide you up to the start line and give you a quick rundown on how the staging lights work. Of course, there is a 3 beams across the start line. The first one brings the top white light on. That's our pre-stage beam. Then about 15 centimeters further forward from that is the full stage beam that brings on that second white light. Tells the starter that you're ready to race. And then if you keep going, you'll go deep stage, which what that does is actually take the top white light out. You can still race with the deep stage light on. And our little Datsun friends down there at the moment, Stu. Once if the top white light comes off, you can still race, but what it does mean is you're much closer to the guard beam, which will trigger a red light if you break that before the green light, if that makes sense.
I'm in love.
With?
There's a purple RX4 that's about to come through the tunnel.
Okay.
Andrew Morados has got his street registered RX3 out the back there, the Mad Dentist.
Yes.
Of course, he'll be getting ready for Jamboree. It runs radials on the rear end of it.
Yes.
That is a sweet-looking car too. Because Andrew been around the scene for a very, very long time.
Long time.
Telly Zimba said, have to vote for the Roaders. I have an RX3. Need to make an effort to come out with it one night. Should run to mid-9. Oh, hell yeah, yes, Telly. Bring it out.
Yes, you should.
Telly, I'm not going to lie. Steve and I and Mark...
It might need a little bit of a pedal at the finish line, but I didn't tell you that.
No. Well, we get a lot of questions up here in the commentary via the live stream and even people that are here at the track. They always ask, do you guys have any rotaries? Well, I'll tell you what, the Rotors have come out tonight and I'm in heaven. I'm loving it. Now, Auto Enthusiast says, shout out to Cooper Becker in the stands. G'day, Cooper. You got a shout out from Auto Enthusiast. So far, guys, in this competition, little competition that we're running, we've got 2 votes each for the black Datsun 1600 and the white RX2 that is here tonight. And for the Harleys, we've got 1 vote already for Motorcycle 109, which is this beautiful looking Harley that was one of the last bikes to go down. So at the moment, guys, it's pretty neck and neck in the cars. The bikes, well, you know what? It's still out in front, but you've got just under 40 minutes left to put your votes in. So if you're here at the track, guys, please get involved. Jump on YouTube, our Sydney Dragway official page. Put your votes in, guys. Because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people here that put a lot of time, effort, blood, sweat and tears into these vehicles. And, look, all right, they might drive them on the weekend, might drive them every day. But you know what? They're out here, they're racing, they're doing it the right way. And as you can see, guys, we're all a family here at the track. We've got a great venue. We've got a fantastic culture, car culture here in Sydney. And what better way to enjoy it than here at Sydney Dragway?
100%, Stu. And the car culture here in Sydney is strong in all areas, whether it be racing or whether drag racing, circuit racing, the street car scene, of course. Yeah. Social groups, that sort of thing. There's always something on. If you've got a car, all you need to do is jump on a social media platform, do a couple of searches, and you'll come across numerous car clubs or organisations in your immediate area that you can go along to, join up. You don't have to. Some of them you don't even have to be a member. You can just turn up to a run, such as Cars and Coffee. There's normally no obligation to. You know, if you're not a car club person but want to get your car out and use it. And of course, this time of year, the weather is pretty good. It's still warm enough that you can go out in your classic car without boiling it, etc., or anything like that in the traffic of summer.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steve. Tony Coca-Cola, he said, hello, fellas from the UK. What's it like over in the UK, Tony? Is it cold and wet? Is it warm? What part of the UK are you from? Let us know. It's going to be awesome night. Now, we've got a car with its hazard lights flashing. It's not because he beat his mate in the other lane.
It's not. What's that? Like trash talk. Sort
of thing. Exactly.
It's not that.
No, he's just slowly making his way down towards the end of the track. And now, just got to wait for him to go around the corner before we send the little Mazda up against this Audi, which I've got a sneak suspicion, Steve, this might be the Audi from Galano Engineering. It might be the driver, actually. This might be his personal car, because he does drive a grey-coloured Audi RS3. But man, what a night. We've got some killer cars. Just saw Lydia downstairs. Of course, she usually comes out here and races her Nissan Navara. And she's also got a 13B powered RX-7. Can't wait to see her out racing very, very soon. Now, Steve, we got a message come through from Tony asking when's the next diesel night. Well, I'm not really quite sure.
We talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We think as our humble commentators up here that they generally have about 2 of those every year, and we can't be too far away from having a diesel or a four-wheel drive night. So they're much of a muchness in the type of car that they attract. Maybe we should send I tell you what, I'll ask Darian through the week. I'll probably see him on Saturday. I don't think he'll be here right now. See if he's got one penciled down, and we'll let you know.
Well, he said he wants to bring his 200 series. I'll tell you what, the Audi was moving around a little bit just before half track. And he went 6.77 seconds at 96 miles an hour to half track. And the little Mazda 3 ripped it up off the start line. Now, we've got this little Toyota back again. Toyota or Mazda? Mazda, wasn't it? He was here
this one's a Mazda.
Yeah, Mazda. Yeah, he was here 2 weeks ago. He's taking on the P-plater. Don't forget, guys, later on tonight, we've got the burnouts on the Burnout Masters burnout pad. GMR Skidders are in the house. So if you're here tonight for the burnouts, guys, make sure you get yourselves pumped up as much as I am. It is going to be sensational tonight. Oh, look, the hazard lights are on. Steering is made up, 16.02 to a 17.02. Don't forget, guys, if you are watching the live stream and you're thinking, you know what, I've got a business and I wouldn't mind coming on as a sponsor here at Sydney Dragway, just make sure you get in touch with everybody in the office.
Yes.
If you're thinking you'd like to come on as a sponsor and get your name out there, not just here in Australia, but all around the world, definitely give the office a call. Auto Enthusiast said that SUV would give Cooper Becker a run for his money. Well, I don't know what Cooper drives. Now, it looks like the Mustang, I think it is, down there in the rocket lane's got a bit of an issue.
Yeah, it's a little 347 cubed fastback Mustang. I believe has gone 1080. A friend of mine watching on the live stream has asked for a little bit of info on him, but has certainly done a bit of research. So thank you very much for that, Phil. And looks like the Mazda runs on through for a 1388 with a 2102. Not sure what has happened to the Mustang in the rocket lane, though, Stu.
Yeah, it's very strange. Hopefully he hasn't damaged the diff.
It's usually the driveline that, this car definitely doesn't have limp mode, so he's potentially damaged something in the driveline. While we wait for that to be determined, why don't we throw to our big screen for a couple of words from some of our sponsors. Stu and I will be back with you very, very shortly here at the Aeroflow Race for Real Wednesday night.
How would it be if we funded a pilot program for you to run that enabled you to bring some vision impaired kids onto the Saints Play program?
Oh wow, that would mean the world. My reward is the smile on the kids' faces.
And since you've given so much to others, we'd also like to do something for you personally. But how would it feel if Pepper sent you, your partner, and your daughter Molly to the Gold Coast for a few days?
Yeah, awesome. I don't know what to say. It amazes me. Thank you very much.
Stay informed, up to date and entertained thanks to the Western Weekender. The Western Weekender is Penrith's leading free and local newspaper, delivering the best content from on-the-ground journalists and providing businesses with direct access to potential customers. News, sport, entertainment, puzzles and so much more. The Western Weekender is the heartbeat of Penrith and it's out every Thursday. Get your free copy at selected locations in the area, home delivered, or check out westernweekender.com.au.
Boosted turbochargers from Aeroflow Performance are designed for the automotive enthusiast who wants optimal performance at a competitive price. We have a range of turbochargers in both ceramic ball bearing and 360-degree journal bearing options to suit your power goals from 200 up to 3,000 horsepower. To help turbocharge your vehicle, Aeroflow Performance also have a large range of turbocharger accessories. From steam pipe turbo manifolds, external wastegates and intake and exhaust solutions, you can have your car boosted in no time. For a full listing, check out aeroflowperformance.com.
Speed Addict Clothing Co. Fast clothes for fast people. Shop now at speedaddictco.com.au.
Well, guys, we've got this Mustang that we are hooking up to the quad. Sorry, it took a little while, but we had to get another car towed up from down in the deep end. Unfortunately, it looks like the Sylvia has had a bit of an issue. So hopefully we can get those cars back to the pits. Unfortunately, there for the Mustang. But, it could be just precautionary. He may have just felt, well, something didn't feel right, and he's done the right thing and stopped the car. Admittedly, though, if you do think your car's broken, guys, obviously stop as quick as you can, but try and pull over to the wall just in case something is leaking. In this instance, I don't think anything is leaking, but they are towing him down. That's a bit of a shame there.
It'd only be sweat if it's leaking, Stu.
Yes. If Mark Thomas was here, he'd be saying something else, but...
yeah, but he's not.
We all know what Mark's like,
yes,
don't we?
Yes, we do. Of course, the lovely guy might get plenty of time from Mark. But,
that's all right, I cop it too.
He's not biased, he just prefers the GM products. It's like our other... No. Tongue firmly planted in cheek. But our other commentator, Les Binkhurst, he's not biased at all. He often calls himself the as a Cyclops, isn't it? Where you've got one that's very one-eyed. But of course, he's a Mopar guy, so sometimes I'm always outnumbered, right? But at least when I'm working with you, we both enjoy all types of cars.
Yeah, we certainly do. Les Binkhurst, doesn't he say, Steve, there's no car but a Mopar?
Something like that, yes.
Something like that, yeah. And it's great to hear, actually, I don't get to work with Les very often, but it is great to hear Les's voice back on commentary here at Sydney Dragway.
Well, I was just looking to see, of course, we got the Speed Addict Clothing Co Championship on Saturday. I'm not 100% sure if he's been put on the roster. I was just talking to our GM about that before. Not that it's my decision, of course, but certainly, Les, a very, very experienced commentator, vast knowledge of all sorts of things, not just cars, but has built some very, very nice cars himself. All, of course, Mopar branded, but that's okay. I won't hold that against him. But also he actually has some German cars in there, a few Japanese cars as well. They're not all just Mopar, even though he talks like he's very biased in his car selection. Maybe I guess when he wants to be comfortable, he's not in a Mopar. When he wants air conditioning and power steering, etc. Yeah.
EJP Fishing asking, will we be live for the skids? We certainly will be. Well, RC, you take some garden waste. Well, I'll tell you what, RC, take your mobile with you and run the audio through your speakers and you can hear exactly what we're saying. And I promise it'll be all nice. You've obviously heard of a guy by the name of Don Burke, I would say. That's a little bit of an Aussie joke. Anybody that's a bit of a gardener, we call him a Don Burke. Now, I did see one of our, well, I'm not going to say one of, our number one spectator. I saw Ross floating around down in the staging lanes. It's great to see Ross here. Of course, Ross does race himself on the odd occasion. Brings out his Commodore wagon. Alright, we got the fat Commodore down there. And he's taking on the Caprice. Auto Enthusiast is saying, Steve, not a fan of these Commodores. I just want to see Cooper Becker run his Nissan Cube. Apparently it's 400 kilowatts. I don't know, but hey.
We'll tell him to get it out here.
Yeah. Come on, Cooper, get it out here. We're going to get it on.
The dyno can tell you whatever you want the dyno to say. It's what you run on the black stuff is where it counts.
That's exactly right.
And I'm pretty sure that the driveline might not be too keen on 400 kilowatts being pushed through it. But I'm sure that we'll see just what happens. Strong burnout once again from the Cortina in the Rocket lane. Taking on Sammy Joe in the Aeroflow lane. And I thought my ears could hear a supercharged power plant turning over. And of course, that's the Gemini coming up in the next pair. Let's see what Sammy Joe can do on the start line. 5-0 on the tree. The Cortina 774.
All right, this should be interesting. We've got two of our Burnout cars coming out to have a go down the track. That's Neil Lentile down there with his rear-mounted single-turbo LS powered Rodeo. And in beside him is Nathaniel Taboni in Yeah Mate, the supercharged LS. It runs methanol. Of course, we'll probably see these cars out on the Burnout pad a little bit later as for GMR Skidders. But Neil Lentile, the party machine, is in the house.
Certainly an interesting combination, isn't it? Mid-mounted engine in a Rodeo.
Oh, the LS in the front, the turbo right at the back. Oh, Nathaniel out 1.771. Here comes Smoko. Now, sometimes he does run slicks on the back of Smoko, and he's living up to its name, Smoko, literally. A 12.50 at 117 to a 13.93 at 54. Well, I know that Bryce Lucas is out the back. Bryce, you heard those numbers. It is time to get some brakes on Whoops and bring it out on the drag strip, mate. I want to see you race Caden.
Has that been his excuse? He hasn't got brakes.
Well, he has got rear brakes. He's got to put rear brakes on it. But his son, Caden, has got an LS-powered Commodore Ute, known as Bankrupt.
Yes.
And, I want to see Caden and his dad race on the drag strip. I reckon it'd be cool. That would be awesome. All right, got the red lights flashing. Not quite sure what's going on. And both cars look like they are around the corner. That'll give you a taste of what is coming up a little bit later on tonight. Scott says, miss my mini truck Rodeo. Well, I'll tell you what, we used to have an all right mini truck scene here in Sydney, Scott, but look, you don't see a lot of them around anymore. No?
Yeah, it's that was sort of a phase, wasn't it? You know, they were everywhere, the drop trucks and stuff like that, and then I'm sure that they're still around. It's just that they're not as plentiful as they once were.
Yeah, well, Shane Pike, who comes out here now and again, who does a lot of photos and video work, he's really into the mini truck scene. I'm pretty sure he's actually got one as well, but they don't get driven all that often. But occasionally you see them at a car show, but not as plentiful as what they were. Neil out now, 1.83 in the 60. Runs low 13s, high 12s. And doing a great job. 12.74 at 108 for Brian.
And a 15.06, 96 mile an hour in the rocket lane.
Oh, got the Ford Capri down here in the rocket lane, about to take on the Holden. This Holden does some really good, strong burnouts.
Yes, I think there's some forced induction under that bonnet in the way of a turbocharger. You can hear it when it comes up on boost.
That is seriously cool. That is seriously cool.
Such a sleeper-looking car from up here as well. Very, very nicely presented in the two-tone.
Well, the Capri out 2.06 in the 60. The Holden 2.09, but he drives right around the Ford at about half track. Good run over the finishing line, 11.39 at a 127 to a 14.08 at 97. Cole Hawley said his new favourite drag car is Smoko. I'll tell you what, Cole, I will let Neil know when I speak to him that that's his new favourite drag car, but it's also more a burnout car, so make sure you stay tuned.
So we need to pick a burnout car?
Well, we do have to pick a burnout car. You're right, actually.
Have we got anyone written?
Well,
I think that's a vote for Smoko.
I think it is a vote. I think it is a vote for Smoko.
Just quietly say that.
I think it is a vote for Smoko.
So far we've only had the two, yeah?
Yeah, so far we've only had, yeah, mate. Yeah, Nathaniel Taboni, the supercharged LS Gemini, part of the Pro Street Cartel. Now, we've got this Commodore coming out here at the moment with nitrous emblem on the rear end of it from PSC Racing. We know those guys can screw a good combination together. And the VF Commodore with the VF Club plates on it. He's a first timer. Welcome to Sydney Dragway. Welcome to Aeroflow Race for Real.
All right, both our racers are ready to go. The tree counts down. A pair of Utes away on the start line. The Commodore away quicker. 4:47 the reaction time. Looks to have the performance advantage as well. And we'll run on through for an 11.78 with a 7. 121 mile an hour to a 13.99 with a 3 at just over 100 mile an hour. Next up, pair of Commodores rolling up to the start line. And the Rocket Lane away first with a 109 light. Went 162 to the 60. And the top end of the racetrack, 10.96 with a 5, 124 mile an hour to 13.59 at 98 mile an hour.
Now, if there's any Nissan purists here tonight, guys, please keep your tears in your eyes. Yes, it's a Nissan, but it's got a supercharged LS motor underneath the bonnet. Smoking Joe Sabello, he's getting better in this car, but I'll tell you what, Steve, this VK down here rips a great skid, and it's quite a good street car too.
It does do a good job. The Joe's car moving around a little bit at half track. And runs on through for a 9.62 with a 3, 148 mile an hour through the finish line to a 13.04 at 106 for the Commodore in the Rocket Lane there.
Of course, they did scrape the track preparing for an event that we've got coming up, so it's caught a few people out. Here we go, guys. This is what I've been waiting for. Andrew the Mad Dentist Moratis with the 13B powered RX3. This is street registered. It's got pretty sure it's got a Pack Racing 13B under the bonnet, so you know it's going to be quick. But funnily enough, both these cars are capable of running in the same category if they wanted to. Of course, the super sedan down there in the Aeroflow lane. Andrew running A altered production. That's the designation for this car. Bit of tyre smoke out of the back of the RX3. Great job for Andrew to hold on to it. An 11.16 there for the big Holden. Andrew Moratis goes 1.66 in the 60. What'd you make of that, Steve?
I was going to say, it looked like it started to move well, and then all of a sudden just straight into tyre smoke. But unfortunately for Andrew there, he'll have to make a few changes, maybe, I dare say, reduce the booster probably a fraction, and come back for another shot a little bit later on tonight.
All right, we've got this Commodore back out. Now, we've seen this car many a time here at Sydney Dragway. Now, this time, it actually looks like, Steve, he's actually got a set of slicks on it instead of radials like it's had in the past. It is a turbo-powered Commodore. He has got skinny front runners on the back, but he's got, from up here, it looks like he's got slicks on it. So, taking his racing up a step, this car does run in super sedan. And you'll hear a lot about that on Saturday as part of the Speed Addict Clothing Company New South Wales State Championship Series. Steve will be one of the commentators calling all the action, and we love turbo cars on a Wednesday, but we also love quick turbo cars at our Speed Addict Clothing Company in Super Sedan. And this one's got a bit of an old super stock look to it. It's very high in the rear end. Obviously, that's the old school bit of weight shift that they used to run back in the day. But he's going to be taking on this BMW, which, to be brutally honest, the Beamers, straight off the factory floor, they're pretty quick. Steve and I, Mark, have seen plenty of quick BMWs come out here, just shocked us. I agree with you, Cole. Neil is a fantastic bloke. Oh, he supports your charity bash car. Now that's cool.
Yes.
That is cool. That is cool.
All right, Lydia Ashford on the start line in the Aeroflow lane, taking on this Commodore in the Rocket lane, Stu.
Yeah, that was Lydia that I was talking about a little bit earlier. She normally races a 13B rotary RX-7.
Just waiting on the Commodore to back. Just rolled through the beams there. And away nicely, a 165.60 foot.
Tell you what, he had a little bit of move there too, Steve.
He did,
Had about
he did.
200 foot. 10.53 at 135. Hell yeah! That's what I'm talking about. That was a great pass from that car. That was awesome. I'll be honest, Steve, I didn't think a 10.50.
I'm not 100% sure what the car normally runs, but other than the small wiggle at about half track, it was a pretty clean run by the look of it.
Well, Steve, we've got another rotary. It's about to come out. We've got RX3 Jet sitting down here. This looks like another one of our very quick street-based RX3s that we have here in Sydney. It looks like it's got a set of radials on the rear end of it. A lot of these races getting ready for Jambo.
Yeah, which is Saturday week. Of course, it was rescheduled from earlier in the year. There was quite a bit of wet stuff planned for that, or predicted, I should say, for the original date, and the organisers deciding to move it to later in the year. And of course, time is flying past. We're already at that point already.
Well, guys, we've got about 12 minutes left of this little competition that we're running tonight. So far, it's neck and neck between the black Datsun 1600 and the white RX2 for the T-shirt. So keep your votes coming in, guys. Still got about 11 minutes. And the Burnout car so far is Smoko. That's on top. So, and the Harley, one of the Harleys that's down there, M109, he's in the running for the best bike, which has all been voted by everybody watching via our live stream, and people, if you're here at the track, have logged on as well. Make sure you get your votes in, guys, because you're just as important as everybody that is watching via the live stream. All right, RX3 Jet out with a 1.85 in the 60.
You're almost driving away from the start line there.
All right, we've just got another vote for the black 1600.
And the RX3 1189 with the 2 there.
All right, the Duff Man is out there on the Harley. Sydney Random Rides, one of the best motorcycle groups in Sydney. If you're into your two-wheel bikes, whether you're a P-plater, an L-plater, or seasoned veteran guys, make sure you do become part of that group and enjoy all the fantastic events that they do run. And 11.72 there for Matt, 11.54 there in the Aeroflow lane.
And expert riders rolling up to the start line now. And our Aeroflow lane with the better of the 2 reaction times. Also, I think a little bit more performance. And runs on through for a 12.44 with a 6 at 102 mile an hour through the finish line. To a 15.20 at 85 in the Rocket lane.
Of course, we don't have a couple of our quick bikes here tonight. We never know who's going to come through the gate, but Wally Hoster's not here. And we don't have the blue Jaxa here tonight, but I'm sure those guys will be back in the future. I reckon a few people want to start getting their eye in, especially if you plan on running modified bike at the Gulf Western Oil Nitro Chance, because it's going to be a huge, tough class to be a part of at that event.
100%, Stu. 12.66 with a 7 in the Rocket Lane will take that one.
Yeah, modified bike's great. You know, there's so many street bikes that can run some pretty quick times and not have to have a huge amount of work done to them.
Well, even like, yeah, I was just going to say, many of the bikes factory are very, very quick. And of course, once you start extending the swing arm, what that allows you to do is be a little bit more aggressive on the launch and weight transfer, of course, rather than trying to there's a little bit more resistance to wanting to lift that front wheel.
Yeah, it's certainly an art form, isn't it, riding a stock height street bike?
Yes.
And to get the best out of it in the 60. I take my hat off to all the people that race on that style of motorcycle.
And looks like the Aeroflow lane is out in front at the moment and will take the win. 12.76 with a 1 at 107 mile an hour through the finish line to a 13.60.
See Jesse Barnes rolling on through. He's not too far away from coming back out for another pass. Of course, his dad, James Barnes, a very accomplished racer in his own right.
Yes, yeah, he is. Of course, Jesse's been pretty busy the last couple of rounds here at Sydney Dragway for Speed Addict Clothing Co. racing the motorcycle and in street bike. His Falcon in Street Fighter.
Oh, wow.
And also helping the old man in the Mustang in Top Sportsman.
Wow.
So Top Sportsman was Super Sedan. Can't remember. But anyways, spending a lot of time running backwards and forwards in the staging lanes, running his two vehicles plus helping the old man out. So let's see what he can do this time. Leaves 034 red on the tree. Again, wanting to lift that front wheel.
Tell you what, the bike next to him was pretty high in the revs too, on the rev limiter, and a 10.14 to 10.46. That's a good pass.
Yeah, it was close to only 300s across the finish line.
Tell you what, he mustn't be far off his PB on that bike, just quietly for Jesse.
I don't, to be honest, Stu, I don't know what that is. It's only the second or third time I've seen him on the bike, to be honest.
Got a sneaky suspicion he's done a 10.39. Two more bikes, 9.85 with a 5 at 1.47. What a great pass there in the Aeroflow lane. Yes, we got the Harley about to come out now in the Aeroflow lane. This thing is seriously cool. And this bike down here in the Rocket lane, it's got a real pro bike stance about him, as far over the fuel tank as possible to get the weight over the front. 1.88 in the 60, a 10.20 at 1.47.
Yeah. Look at the speed, 147 mile an hour across the finish line in the Rocket lane.
That is huge.
Doing 117 miles an hour at half track.
Wow. Wow. I can see a smile on your face, Steve. I can also see your brain.
That's pretty
ticking.
quick. This is our bike vote, is it?
Yes, this is the bike vote. Yeah, the ape hanger, the big Harley.
Tell you what, that mudguard's not very far off the ground either. Want to hope he keeps the weight transfer forward.
Well, I watch a lot of the motorcycle drag racing videos from Cycle Drag over in the US, and watching a lot of these street-based Harleys when they're riding them, and they're amazing, some of those riders. They really are. But this bike next to him, 9.85. That's Michael Riches. The AMS water meters, Jaxa 750, a 9.85. I reckon that'd have to be close to, if not a PB for that bike, for Michael, 9.85. That bike actually does have a nitrous bottle on it, but I don't believe he's running the nitrous on the bike. Definitely not running the nitrous, but I'll tell you what, he will be stoked with that time.
And 11.10 with a 7, 129 mile an hour in the Aeroflow lane to take that race. Again, once again, fantastic showing from our motorcycle racers here tonight. 167 on the tree for the Aeroflow lane, the better of the two lights. And runs on through for an 11.16. 126 miles an hour to a 12.91 with a 7 at 103.
Right, we've got our last bike. It's coming out. The P-plate are doing it the right way. You know, I had a friendly argument with some guys on a motorcycle page saying, hey, we ride bikes, we need corners. Well, not really, guys. You bring your bike out here to the drag strip, go as fast as you want over the quarter mile and do it safely.
100% Stu. I mean, I think obviously, you know, different horses for different courses, as they say, you know.
This P-plate are doing the right thing. 2.53 in the 60. And a 15.58 at 83 miles an hour. We're back into the cars. We've got the Volkswagen about to take on the Ford Focus. You don't see a lot of this model of Volkswagen around. Of course, we get a lot of Golfs. Occasionally we'll get a Tiguan R come out. Well, guys, we're just about finished the competition. And I'm just going to wait for those bikes to make their way around, and I will call out the winners who need to meet me at the bottom of the tower just after 8 o'clock, or as quickly as possible, because I need you guys to make sure that you've got your bands on, and you guys need to go up to the merchandise shop and see Jackie, and you the winners, the 3 winners will get a T-shirt.
Do you know what time the shop actually shuts to the public?
I believe it's 9 o'clock.
Okay, fantastic.
Yep. Oh, we got a bit of smoke down the deep end.
Which car was that out of?
It was either the
It was the VW, and what was in the rocket lane there?
the Ford Focus.
Oh.
Yeah, so hopefully that wasn't a turbo letting go for the Focus. Got the team out there doing their thing. All right, guys, we're going to announce the winners of the merchandise competition. So the 3 drivers that are out the back and or riders, can you guys meet me at the bottom of the tower, please? I am looking for race number T32, the black Datsun. The gentleman's driving the black Datsun. If you can meet me at the bottom of the tower, please. I'm looking for the rider of the Harley Davidson M109. M109, if you can meet me at the bottom of the tower. And Smoko Neil Lentil, if you can meet me at the bottom of the tower, please, straight away. And I will fill you in on how you guys can get your T-shirts.
Yeah, fantastic. Congratulations to those winners. I hope you enjoy your prize. And of course, looks like we're just checking out the top end of the racetrack. Of course, we got one of our quads on the hill. What I might do, just while Stewie goes and finds the winners of our T-shirt competition, and we're just checking out the top end of the racetrack, just throw to a couple of short ads from some of our supporters here at Sydney Dragway, and we'll be back with you very, very shortly.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannons are giving you the chance to win a USA Supercars drive experience at the Circuit of the Americas and Las Vegas racetracks. Drive a Ferrari, Lamborghini and Porsche. Visit Dallas, Austin, Las Vegas and LA. The trip for two includes airfares, luxury accommodation and $10,000 spending money for eligible Shannons Club members. Plus, win a new Indian Motorcycle Sport Chief. To enter, take out new Shannons insurance on your special car, daily drive, bike or home. Go online or call Shannons on 1346.
Not slow.
Not difficult.
Not just ticking boxes.
Not a bank.
Talk to Australia's real-life non-bank for home loans, car loans, personal loans. Pepper Money, the home of loan options.
Yeah, we've got the Mazda RX-4 down here in the Aeroflow lane, about to rip it up in the Burnout. And he's going to be taking on the Mazda 3 hatch. All right, the P-Plate are back out in the Aeroflow lane. Congratulations to all our winners for the T-shirts tonight for the best car, best bike, and best burnout car this evening. Now that RS3 I walked past, I actually thought it was the Galano car. It's not. It's AMG Killer, because he was here 2 weeks ago for our Aeroflow Race for Real, which is proudly supported by Platinum Racing Products and Motive Video as well. And I know that Hawko did a little feature on that car as well. You can check that out on the Motive Video YouTube page as well. All right, the little Mazda RX-7, 1.98 in the 60. A little bit of haze coming out of it, just breathing a little bit heavy. It goes in 11.57, 12.34 for the car there in the Aeroflow lane. Here's AMG Killer and taking on this aqua blue wrapped R35 GTR. Because that's right, ladies and gentlemen, it is not a Skyline, it's an R35 GTR. As Adrian Hodgson told me. Well, a bit of turn of the tyres there for the Skyline, and AMG Killer out with a 1.93 in the 60. Both cars probably just testing the first part of the racetrack. They are two very quick cars, but I don't know if these guys are just playing or whether the GTRs legit may have had an issue, but wait for these cars to make their way off the track before we send this beautiful looking Datsun 1600 Well, I got this R35 about to go through the Junior Dragway Expressway. And AMG Killer just about at the end of the track. Yes, he's gone round the corner, so we'll get the gate shut. And then we've got the Datsun about to take on the A-Class AMG Mercedes. Are you taking a photo? ATG. Steve's got the phone up. I think he's taking he's taking a photo of that Datsun 1600. I think secretly he wants one.
No, good friend at work is a Datsun fan. So I've been trying to get him to buy one, but it just doesn't seem to. I think the Minister for War and Finance, aka the Missus, might curb the enthusiasm. I'll put it that way.
Well, I know the madman loves his Datsuns.
Does he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, he loves his Datsuns.
There you go. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, he's got an 1800 Triple S at home.
Oh, right. I did not know that. I don't think we've ever really talked cars with Madman. Obviously, he's interested in them, but I didn't know that he had any cars. Okay.
So, TG, that Datsun 1600 won a T-shirt for the best car. The best bike went to one of the Harleys that is out the back,
Yeah,
the Deluxe.
M109 or whatever the number. I'm sure it was 109, wasn't it?
Yep, the Harley Deluxe. And then the best burnout car
is coming up very soon, I think.
Yeah, he is. That was Neil Lentil in Smoko.
Oh no, sorry, that was the Gemini I just saw on the staging cam. Beg your pardon. Well, I do like the name for Smoko. It's very fitting with the Rodeo tray back.
It is.
Just needs the cement mixture in the back and the brickies trowel.
Well, it's funny, you know, before he put the turbo on it, that car had the most sweetest sound to it. But of course, once you put a turbo in any car, it acts like a muffler. So it's not quite as loud as what it was. But you know what? They got on top of it, and that car is also tuned by the Gingerbread Man as well. Clint does a great job with all the tuning of a lot of the Burnout cars that run the LSs.
Wow, Holden just blazing the tyres on the hit. Had a couple of pedals, I dare say. Went 202 to the 60. And still rolls on through for an 11.61 with an 8. 127 miles an hour through the finish line. Next up, we got Brian taking on the Capri. Very unassuming little Capri, this one in the rocket lane. What's it like outside, Stu? Is it? I mean, you're still in a shirt and.
Yeah, look, it's a little bit cool out there, but I'll be honest, Steve, it's actually not as cold as I thought it would be. There's still a little bit of warmth out there. I don't know what the track temp is, but you know, it's bearable out there. But just letting you guys know, up in the track shop, there's not many hoodies left.
Okay.
Jackie sold a fair few of them. There's still some up there. So if you haven't got a hoodie yet, guys, or a long sleeve t-shirt, make sure you get over to the merchandise shop and go see Jackie. All right, Neil Lentil out now in Smoko, the winner of the best Burnout car tonight. He'll have a t-shirt that he'll pick up before 9 o'clock.
Gets away with a 393 reaction time, neck and neck with the car in the Aeroflow lane though. 0.05 of a second across the finish line. A 12.71 with a 2 will take it. I can't read that. And the Gemini on the start line now.
Yeah, we might send potentially. I know. We might send Nathaniel. Might have to get him to roll back. Obviously, the red lights are flashing, waiting for those cars to make their way around into the deep end. Sammy Joe down there in her Commodore, getting plenty of practice in. Ready for Saturday.
Has she got new wheels on the back?
Yeah, she does actually. Well, looks like she's got a set of radials on it.
I have just got the quad checking out the hill at the moment. I did hear someone say there was a little bit of precipitation as I say that. I can see a couple of spots on our window.
Right.
Did you wash your car today?
No, I did not wash my car this morning.
Like how quick you were.
I had a message at 8:30 this morning from Carly saying, Stuart, do not wash your car.
Who said that?
Carly, one of our photographers here tonight. 8:30 this morning, she sent that to me. You were lucky I was awake, Carly. Thanks, Carly. Love your work. I fulfilled my promise.
It's just so funny that you're such a creature of habit. It's Wednesday and you're going to wash the car. And your friends tell you, do not wash your car.
That's exactly
Knowing
right.
full well that...
I've done that before and you still tell
It's still
me
your
washed
fault.
your car.
You could wash it on Thursday morning and it would still be your fault that we got precipitation on Wednesday night.
Nice, yeah.
Because you thought about it, right?
Yeah, they call me the precipitation god here at Sydney Dragway. TG, no, there's no burnouts on tomorrow night. No, tomorrow we've got a...
we have some burnouts tonight.
We've got burnouts tonight, but we've got a private test day on tomorrow. So, no, there'll be no burnouts. Auto Enthusiast says Cooper Becker went home. He's scared of the precipitation. What, he's driving this in Cube. How can he be scared of that?
Because it's 400 kilowatts. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. No comment.
I don't know.
Sounds like it's all talk to me, Stu.
I think it might be 400 kilowatts is a little bit rich for a box on wheels.
You know what? Prove us wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Bring it out.
Prove us wrong. Happy to be proven wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it will be with 5 or 6 times between now and Saturday, so what's one more?
That's it. Well, it can't be too bad out there because they haven't got the cover over the tree.
No.
Yeah, so Auto Enthusiast has written back. Cooper Beckett's cube is Nismo 1 of 500. And there we go.
So what you're saying is it's worth a small fortune then?
Yeah. So it's not standard then, Auto Enthusiast. It's had a fair bit of work done to it, I'm guessing.
Because, I mean, I'm not being rude, but a Nissan Cube is not what you consider. Wouldn't be most people's first choice of car when they go into a Nissan dealership looking for a performance vehicle.
Yeah. Soy Up Gypsy just said, you're on the list, Auto Enthusiast. Well, if you're here at the track, guys, you can join in via the chat on YouTube or Facebook. Neil and Till coming up over the Burnout pad in Smoko. We'll see Neil on the pad a little bit later. GMR Skidders. Now, I just spoke to Caden, who's down in the pits. Of course, he drives an orange Commodore Ute called Bankrupt. I just told him, I said, you've got to outdo your dad. Of course, Bryce is...
You started the talk.
I have. Bryce is bringing Whoops out tonight to test it on the pad. But I want to see Caden do better. And yes, Bryce, I did tell him what we said the other week too at Good Friday Burnout. So he laughed. But he's got a pretty serious look on his face.
So he's laughing in jest, you reckon?
Oh yeah, he knows.
Yeah.
He knows I'm right. It's good to see Nathaniel here tonight with Yeah Mate, of course, sponsored by Performance Roofing, St Mary's Engines, and of course Red Devil Skid Vids. You can check them out on YouTube for all your burnout action. Of course, that car only recently become blown because it was naturally aspirated for a while, and Nathaniel always did a great job, stepped it up to the blown combination. As with any car, when you step stuff up, look, there are teething issues.
Yes, yep. Well, you've got a lot more going on there too. That
you do. But you know what? They're getting on top of it. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be a very, very good car once it's completely sorted. Short wheelbase, runs methanol. Well, I've got some good news, ladies and gentlemen. Our meeting director has just thrown the money on the table. Admittedly not at Steve and I, but
he literally did just throw it.
He literally did.
Yep.
But we made the required number of entrants tonight, so we do have the reaction time prize money to give out tonight. So we've still got about 10 minutes left of the reaction time contest if we do get back to racing. And then I will skedaddle next door and get the winners of tonight's reaction time contest. $300 for the fastest reaction time, $200 for the second fastest reaction time, and $100 as well. Now, I've actually got to find, I think they're on the back shelf, I've got to find the pieces of paper for the photos. Oh, yeah. Auto Enthusiast said, hey, Cooper, if you're still here at the track, Auto Enthusiast asked, can you pay him the $40 that you owe him? Apparently you owe him $40, so you got to pay him back.
I'm sure he could have asked that privately, but anyway.
Well, yeah, he probably could have.
And now we're naming and shaming him, are we?
Well, I don't know about naming and shaming. Tony, we've just stopped racing for the moment because there's a few spots of the wet stuff. So I did not wash the rocket,
You
okay?
thought about washing it.
The pocket rocket is still clean enough. Scott said, prepping the track for Benny's run. All good, Tony. Not a problem, mate. All right, engines have fired up. Just doing a bit of a rub of the track. We've got the tractor out there. Yep. All right, guys, we're going to throw up to some ads from our sponsors here at Aeroflow Race for Real with the Rocket and the Bushman. We'll be back very, very soon.
Aeroflow Performance provides a wide range of high-quality performance products for racers, street machines and hot rodders. Aeroflow Performance provides a wide range of high-quality performance products for racers, street machines and hot rodders. From fittings, fuel system components, intake solutions and even turbocharger systems, you can see it all at aeroflowperformance.com.
Are you a motoring enthusiast? Shannon's are giving you the chance to win a USA Supercars drive experience at the Circuit of the Americas and Las Vegas racetracks. Drive a Ferrari, Lamborghini and Porsche. Visit Dallas, Austin, Las Vegas and LA. The trip for two includes airfares, luxury accommodation and $10,000 spending money for eligible Shannon's Club members. Plus, win a new Indian Motorcycle Sport Chief. To enter, take out new Shannon's insurance on your special car, daily drive, bike or home. Go online or call Shannon's on 134646.
BikeReview.com.au is Australia's leading website for performance and modified motorcycles. BikeReview.com.au is the only motorcycle-focused website to feature motorcycle drag racing on a regular basis. And in the words of editor Jeff Ware, our involvement with Sydney Dragway is our way of putting back into one of our favourite sports. BikeReview.com.au.
Well, you know, it must be burnouts tonight because there's 3 young guys that are sitting down in the front at Kids Corner where they were. They're in, just walked away from the concrete wall. Yes, mate, I am up here in the commentary box and I saw you waving your mullet in the air. So you better be here for, hopefully you'll be here for burnouts, boys. I'm going to have to ask Mick Brusher to do a mullet competition, I think. There's some pretty killer mullets here tonight already for Aeroflow Race for Real. Of course, Brushnart's coming up on the 9th of June here at Sydney Dragway. If you love burnouts, guys, make sure you do check that event out. It's the biggest burnout party on the east coast of Australia. It is huge. We've got some of the biggest and baddest burnout cars in the country making their way here to Sydney Dragway in June. Now, we've got Chris down there in the water box, one of our hard-working officials down there. And just on a personal note, just want to say a big congratulations to you, mate, for getting that job with Cedars Racing and being a mechanic, mate, and really sinking your teeth into the motorsport scene. It is fantastic when you see people that we get to work with here at the track and following their dreams and making the most of it. Well done, Chris. All right, the Bushman has got the 3 most important names that are about to be read out.
Besides yours, Benji's and mine.
Well, yeah, aside from that.
All right, so we've got our reaction time winners for tonight. Our 3rd place winner is Ashley Hopkins. Congratulations.
No.
Ooh. I'll come back to you.
We'll come back to you on the reaction time winners.
Scratch that. Erase that from this live stream, please, Ben.
Yeah.
Just go back in time. Get the DeLorean out for... It's only 30 seconds. It won't change too much of history.
Oh, RC car. I went to get some condensed milk, but it had evaporated. RC. Anybody think you're a chef? Auto Enthusiast is asking, is OMG TI out there tonight? His Mark 7 goes all right. No, it's not here tonight, Auto Enthusiast. As a matter of fact, we don't have a huge amount of Golfs out here tonight. I think we've only got about probably 2.
Yeah, there's a few, but not as many as we normally
Yeah, not as many as what we normally do.
Looking at the light show from this... Is it the focus in the
think it is the
lane
focus.
2, so the headlights flashing on and off?
That'd be a little bit disconcerting.
Oh, well, a little bit of fun.
It is a bit of fun. It is a car show. I mean, after all, Wednesday night, yeah. But, you know, I reckon you should put neons under it. I reckon it'd be cool, you know. Well, as long as his battery doesn't go flat.
No, they're only LEDs, so it shouldn't be too bad. Surely.
Okay. Hey, Cliffy, you finally joined the stream. How are you, Cliff?
All right, Stu, I'm going to have another go at cracking these names for our reaction time winners. Our 3rd place winner for tonight is Brian Attersing. Congratulations, Brian. It's a big cheer from some of our crowd down there. We can hear you on the live streams with the headsets. Congratulations, Brian. You're our third place getter tonight. Our second place getter with an 019 is Sean Dartnell in the Hyundai i30 for Dartnell's Family Racing. And our winner tonight is Joshua Sanis on M108, so on a motorcycle with an 013 light. So congratulations to Brian Adasingh in third spot, Sean Dartnell in second, and Joshua Sanis, our winner tonight. So if your name has been called out, please come to the bottom of our control tower at the entry door. Stu will be down there in his blue official shirt. You'll need to bring your armband with you as a proof of ID, and Stuart will have a small present for you. And I believe I'm just hearing in the background that our meeting director has made the call to go to burnouts for this evening. So if you are down on the plastic seating, can you please move back from the fence to the blue seating at the very closest, please?
Hey, Andrew. Can you meet me at the bottom of the tower as soon as possible, please, mate?
Yes, I think the reason for the burnouts is there's still a little bit of precipitation down at the top end of the racetrack, and that's why the call has been made. So we'll get the burnouts run and done. Of course, if you were one of the winners that I called out for the reaction time prize money, can you please see Stuart at the bottom of the tower?
All right, guys, we're going to bring the burnout cars out a little bit earlier than I expected. So I've literally had to rocket down the stairs, do the reaction time contest, and rocket out here.
What was the reaction for first place? What did they get?
To all the people that are at the front of the grandstand, guys, I do have to ask you to please move back to where the blue seats start, because we are bringing out the Burnout cars a little bit earlier than we expected. So if you're at the front of the grandstand, guys, could I please get you to move back to where the blue seats start, please, in the line. Hey, Ben. How are you, mate? Well, Sydney Dragway. And we got some Burnout fans here tonight. Hey, we got a lot of kids here tonight. Well, I'll tell you what, guys, it is school holidays. If you're watching via YouTube or live stream, do not move from your screen, because we've got some great Burnout cars that are about to come out. I've just seen Whoops sitting out the back. Here comes Bryce Lucas in Whoops, just freshly rebuilt the LS after the little fire that he had a Good Friday Burnout. There's a lot of kids here tonight. Let's get those fingers up in the air. It is good to see Dean Hay here tonight as well in Gun LS1, the Top Gun Commercial Constructions sponsored Burnout car. Of course, he is one of the sponsors for Burnouts as well, which is coming up on the 9th of June. Now, the Bushman is up in the studio, and I hope he's got the headset on, because there's going to be some great noise. Hey,
yes,
how many
I do.
goes here?
I'm here, Stuart.
Young Jakey is in the house. He's always a fan favourite, young Jakey. So once again, guys, when the Burnouts are on, guys, we do ask that you stay where you are seated. Do not move forward to the front of the grandstand, guys, because we will have to stop the Burnout. Now, this is not fair on the competitors. Just going to wait for the thumbs up. All right, here we go, Sydney. Our first car coming out now, skidded. Great stuff there from Skidder. Next up, we got On the Sly. Great stuff there from On the Sly. Both tyres off in under 3 minutes.
Great use of the pad there too, Stu.
Sydney, put your hands together for On the Sly. All right, next up on the Burnout pad, we've got the third place finisher at Good Friday Burnouts in the street class. We've got Boogie, which is about to come out. Of course, that car had 3 drivers at Good Friday Burnouts. Here we go. There goes Boogie. Great stuff there from Boogie. Got one tyre off. All right, Dean Hay about to come out now in Gun LS1. Great stuff there from Dean Hay in Gun LS1. We got Red Devil Skid Vids up in the crowd, taking some fantastic videos, the burnouts tonight as well. All right, next up from GMR Skidders, we've got young Jake in Having a Go. I got a little bit of flameage underneath. Having a go from young Jakey. Sydney Dragway, make some noise for Jake in having a go. He's got about a minute left. Oh, yeah! Sydney Dragway, put your hands together for young Jakey and having a go. All right, guys, got the first of one of our pro cars coming out now. We've got Bryce Lucas, who's about to come out in whoops. Now, unfortunately, it looks like Caden has got a little bit of an issue with his Commodore. Unfortunately, the battery looks like it has died in bankrupt. But we've still got Neil and Nathaniel that will be coming out as well. We will have to give Jakey a toe off. Sydney Dragway, show Jake some love. Without a doubt, one of the good guys of the burnout scene in Australia. It is really good to see him doing what he loves, and most of all, doing it with a smile on his face and having his mates up in the crowd, helping him along, giving him cheering for him as well. All right, guys, looks like we're going to bring Neil and Nathaniel through. And then we will be sending whoops Bryce Lucas from Twin Lakes Automotive. We'll be putting him onto the pad. Good on you, Jakey. Hey, Bushman, it's about to get loud down here, mate. I can't wait.
I know you're a big fan of noisy burnout cars, Stu, and smoky ones too.
Oh, mate, I'm just a fan of loud cars. Sydney Dragway, make some noise for Smoko. The party animal is in the house. Of course, the Glossodia Mechanical, tuned by the Gingerbread Man. It's great to have the guys from GMR Skidders here tonight as part of Aeroflow Race for Real every Wednesday night. All right, Sydney, all the kids, let's get those limited figures in the air. We got a little bit of a fire underneath the bottom of Whoops, just near the exhaust pipe. She's running pretty hot. Because tonight was a little bit of a test session for Bryce before he takes the car to another comp. Was smoking a bit from the right-hand front of the engine when he entered. Just a little bit of smoke that is coming out of the right-hand front of the engine there for Bryce. So they'll get that car looked at. And no doubt we will see Bryce back bigger and better. I know they worked really hard last night to get that engine back together and get that into the car last night. It was a late finish for them up at Twin Lakes Automotive. But it looks as if it's only something small. That's the main thing. So they'll be able to get that fixed. Coming out now, our other Pro Burnout car tonight, Nathaniel Taboni, and yeah, mate. Well, if you're watching via YouTube or Facebook, I hope you're enjoying all the burnouts tonight. I know everybody up in the crowd here at Sydney Dragway, they are enjoying the skids. And we've got a couple more to come. All right, Sydney Dragway, have we got any Smoko fans in the crowd? Sydney Dragway, make some noise for the party animal, Neil and Till. All right, next up on the pad, guys, is a bit of a crowd favourite here at Sydney Dragway. Nathaniel Taboni in the air, mate. Well, I'll tell you what, Nathaniel and Taboni in the air, mate. Put a round of applause for Nathaniel, City. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. He's finally got it going. Hey, just before we wrap up, guys, unfortunately, Caden's car couldn't go. But, hey, there's people watching around the world. On the count of three, can I get us a massive shout out for yeah, mate? 1, 2, 3. That's what, show those people around the world how we celebrate burnouts. Ladies and gentlemen, that is it for tonight's Aeroflow Race for Real here at Sydney Dragway. My name's Stewie, also known as the Pocket Rocket, the Bushman, Big Bad Benji up in the studio. A huge big thank you to everyone who's been tuning in from around the world, tuning in to Aeroflow Race for Real. Up to you, Steve.
Thank you very much, Stu. I'd like to thank all of our hardworking officials tonight out on the racetrack and in race control. Of course, everyone involved put together a reasonably good show again tonight. Thank you to all of our crowd for coming out to the venue tonight. I hope you've enjoyed watching the racing and also the burnouts. And I look forward to seeing you all here at Sydney Dragway on the weekend. Of course, the next round of the Speed Addict Clothing Co. Championship Series on Saturday. Keep your eyes on the track's website, www.sydneydragway.com.au. Like us on Facebook if you haven't already. Keep yourself up to date with all the events and happenings here at the racetrack. Jump online, grab your tickets for the 2024 Gulf Western Oil Nitro Champs happening the 3rd to the 5th of May here at Sydney Dragway. My name's Steve Bush. We look forward to seeing you all again here at the venue very, very soon. Be safe on the roads. Good night.